Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Today we will be taking up a brief introductory session on how to go about capture the flag events. Basically, capture the flag events are kind of a gamification of cybersecurity learning, and as you can see in the slide as well, like it is a game of finding the passwords or exploiting the system like for the password, or also known as the flag, through the skills or the command sets or the tools that we all be possessing, and through a step by step process we can capture the flag or get the password. Okay, so like what the main idea of today's session is, like we will be going through a small part of the basics. I have also attached the right like link to the article as well, so you can go there and read it in more detail. So like I will only tell briefly about the theory part, so you don't get bored. Okay, so coming back to the CTF part, like commonly three types of CTFs are there: Jeopardy style CTF, attack defense style CTFs, and mixed style CTF. Okay, so in a CTF contest, inside a CTF contest, you may encounter different kinds of questions as well. For example, it can be cryptography, which includes questions regarding encrypting or decrypting a piece of data. So basically, this means that you write your text in a decrypted, encrypted manner, not in a same simple, plain English kind of thing, so that it is difficult for some other unauthorized person to um, not to look upon what you are sharing or what is the data that you possess. So moving to the next section, stenography. Stenography is related with the information finding hidden in images or files, which you won't be seeing simply through a like simply through your naked eyes. You won't be able to see if you don't know how to extract the data from them. Next, binary exploitation or own. This you will commonly see in ethical hacking, that own or owned, these kind of spellings, the O is replaced by P. This was initially a typo error but was continued in this line. So just a fun fact. So this basically deals with exploiting a binary file. Binary file may be some kind of executable file, and then exploiting it in some kind of a way to capture the flag or the password. By the way, just to check, like, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Okay, so next type of questions we may encounter is reverse engineering. In this, like a compiled program, which may be a machine code or a byte code, it is converted back into a more human readable format, and then we use it to extract the flag, which we may submit it later. Next, the web part, like uh, we search web pages in the Google search engine or the Firefox search engine, and there we explore some pages which may have some backend and front end portions, and exploiting those pages, we may gather some information and receive the flag. Next comes the forensics type. This is similar to stenography, and this also includes file format analysis, and memory dump of a program is also there. So analysis of that can also tell us about the forensics and packet capture analysis. Leaving all these, like miscellaneous type of questions are those, like it is random, and like it may require simple logic or some patience as well. Moving to the next slide, these are some of the worldwide famous contests like Insomniac, Real World CTF, Google Capture the Flag, or Pico CTF, or DEF CON. These are world famous, and like they are they receive a huge number of participation and have a great amount of prize money. Okay, so we will start uh, with some baby steps. So, what are the prerequisites? Like what we can assume a bit to start. So, basic programming skills is not that much required, but I have written it here because for those who haven't seen, who haven't written code that much, like they might be intimidated in the first step, like if they start directly with CTS. So I would like recommend to get a little bit of basic programming skills. Okay, and after that, like Linux terminal commands is the food and like bread and butter of ethical hacking. You can't move ahead without this. So I have also attached one video tutorial and one website link. So these both are very good. I personally have followed both of them, and they are very informative. These they take you through a step and step process, and like you can improve. Coming to the platforms that you need, like if you are in Windows, then you can use virtual machine box. This is a video link you can see. Also for installation part, we will be taking up another session soon, so that like everyone, whoever has any kind of doubts, like they can come and they can ask us. We will be showing how to do it in a brief way or as well. The next thing is WSL, like Windows Subsystem for Linux. It is just kind of an app like you install in Windows. You can install it as well. You just have to write one piece of line in the command CMD terminal and install the app. It will be around 1 to 2 GBs from the Microsoft Store. You have to install, and then you are ready to go. So VM box I will show. Okay, so this one is the VM box from Oracle. uh, so I have downloaded an ISO file uh, of the Kali Linux, and like this is my environment is still a Windows one only, but I am kind of emulating a Linux environment through this. So I will just start. You can see the installation video through this YouTube one, or we will be again, like I'm saying, we will be taking up a brief session as well. So it will take some time to start up. And this WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, if you will search here after the installation, it will be search. If you will Ubuntu, if you will search, it will come, and you can just see this one. So all the commands that you know about Linux, like ls, or for listing all the files that are there in the present directory. So since this one is empty one, nothing is coming. PWD means present working directory, so this one is the present working directory. CD means change directory, so I will change it to root directory. And then D drive I have to go. Okay, so this WSL won't give you an user interface, but only a command line through which you can do everything. But for most of the parts, it will be more than enough for you. And the last, which I personally recommend, is like if you get acquainted with how to dual boot, or like you can remove Windows from your system as well if you are that much comfortable, and you can dual boot your system. And of course, at last, the prerequisite is will to learn. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just now which you demonstrated, was it WSL or VMworks?
yeah. So wait. this this is starting up. This is the virtual box one.
Okay,
Okay.
so you have both installed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and right now you were running on WSL.
Yeah, see, the problem with VirtualBox is that it is having everything, but since it is kind of an emulator, it will run a bit slow. Okay, so that is the problem, but it will be like you run a normal Linux, it will be kind of that only, but it will run a bit slow. And with WSL, Windows is providing you a platform from its side, so it is fast, but the only thing is that you only get a command line and nothing else, but all the functions, like everything you will be able to do through this, because mostly we have to connect to servers of the other party where we have to launch an attack. So uh, SSH is a command to connect to other systems. So that command works through terminals only. So we will be more than, this will be more than enough to continue. Okay.
Okay.
And then next slide is, yeah, some good YouTube channels, like I have also attached Hackers Floyd, or Leo Liang Yang, or John Hammond is there, so Hack 5. So these channels are very good. You can follow them, they will be enriching your knowledge. And as for websites, like where we can go through this CTS or war games and we can start, personally, like many people suggest this over the wire bandit websites, but from what I feel, like this is fine, this is very good, but for example, bandit is the first war game. After one or two levels, like you have to study more and more hard, and the resource that you get is not that much. So from what I feel, like this try hack me website is there. So this has much resource for a beginner, and it takes you from a step by step manner as well. And it has all the practice thing for you as well. So see, for example, tutorial, it will tell you about, the best part is, like if you don't have WSL or VMbox installed, then also it provides you with a attack box of itself. You get a 1 hour, but it is more than enough. Okay, so it will show you everything, like how you can do. So this start machine is there, and everything, like you can do from here only, it will tell you everything. You don't have to install WSL or VMbox if you don't have to, if you don't want to. I think this VMbox has opened, so I will just show you guys how it looks. See, everything will look like simple Linux, how you see, must have seen in any videos that you might have watched, or anywhere else. Okay, so let it, as I said, like it is a bit slow, so let it open. And yeah, this try hack me, you should start from my personal experience. After that, you can try with over the wire bandit level. Then for seeing the real world, real problems, like what is being asked in CTS, Pico CTF is a beginner friendly challenge game. And then backdoor one, I included because the inter IIT people sent this website, and it's good only. It has many practice challenge and many questions, so along with hints, so you can see this one also. Other resources which you can follow is, like these websites are good. You can see, yeah, see, like the Kali machine has opened. Takes up RAM and all those things. So any question is there, like you can ask.
I have a question. In VirtualBox,
Yeah.
is there any like minimum memory you want us to allocate? Would that help in the performance of the operating system we load through the VirtualBox?
See, in VirtualBox, like 8 GB, like my system is having 8 GB. So
Mm-hmm.
from whatever videos you will watch, like it is generally recommended to give a RAM of about 25%, but you
Mm.
can fine tune it and manage it according to your needs. Also, selecting the, like if you will see Linux distros, if you will see distro watch is there. So what I feel is like you should install a see, so many distros are there. So out of all these, what's the name? I'm forgetting. Desktop environments are there: GNOME desktop environment, KDE desktop environment, and XFCE. So XFCE desktop environment is the most lightweight, and that won't give you as much like it will give you somewhat better performance. Like it is a light distro, so light desktop environments.
We can use, right? We can use whichever we are comfortable with.
Yeah, you can use. See, this one I loaded. This one is Kali Linux only, and it is running XFCE desktop environment. But still, it will be not that much good. Like as you dual boot your system, or you use like WSL if you are
Mm.
okay with the command line.
Okay.
See, if you go to this distrowatch.com, like many distributions will be written here according to the ranks, like MX Linux, Manjaro. You can like watch some videos and according to your likes, like you can install. Don't like install Ubuntu. This one Ubuntu, like from my personal view, like it's full of bloatware and many people don't encourage it. Okay, so any other questions, or then we will go with some war games. See, this VM box is like a full-fledged machine only. You can do anything. One more thing, like one person asked me as well, like should we install Kali Linux or something else. uh, all the Kali Linux or Parrot Linux only help you by giving these tools by default. You can install these tools by yourself on any distribution. It is not that just Kali Linux is good. You can use any Ubuntu, Linux Mint, or Manjaro, or MX Linux, any distribution you can use, and you just have to install the from yourself. That's all. Nothing else you have to do.
What are these tools doing? Like, are they helping us in
Yeah, yeah,
capturing the flag?
yeah. See, for example, in this Kali Linux only, this is divided into many sub portions. Like, for example, forensics, I told you earlier, reverse engineering, or this kind of attacks are there, right? So, for these softwares, some tools and softwares are there. For example, Nmap is there. So, what is does it? It will scan all the open ports in the network and tell you information about it. So the only thing that the Kali Linux or Parrot will do, like they will come pre-installed with these softwares, and because it is assuming that you are installing it for this purpose, but other distributions won't come. Like some of the basics tools it will come, but more of the things like Metasploit framework or those things you have to install by yourself.
So, do we need to use these tools if we are using Windows subsystem or Linux? Or can't we just use command line, or are they like necessary?
See, most of the things like they can be installed. Like if you will install in Linux also, they will be installed via a terminal only. But from I told you about this WSL because so as to all get you onboarded. Like you won't feel like no, just first I have to install a lot of things like Linux and all those things. Then only I will be able to do. So that is not the point that I'm trying to say. Like, see, I could have easily opened the intro session through a Linux system, but I thought that for beginners, like mostly all of you would be running a Windows system only. So what are the options that you can start with and get comfortable first, and then for the further path you can switch to Linux. That's what I was thinking about. So yeah, I will close this, like it is taking up too much RAM also.
I have another question. Why
Yeah.
is that we use terminal from Linux only? Why can't we just use command line from Windows?
See, the terminal in the Linux is like it is having some of the things, some of the commands that, see, for example, this clear is there. Okay, clear. What it does, it just clears the this terminal. Okay, it will take time. This one is now. Okay, so now if I go to CMD, the command line, like for the Windows thing, so the commands that this gives as a default is very much different. So if I will write clear, it will say it is not recognized as a command. So because of the way the systems are built, like Windows and Linux, they are built, and what are the features they have, so the command that they are having is also different. So that is why it is being used.
Yes, the whole purpose is remembering the commands is easier because in CMD also if you just type CLS it gets cleared.
Yeah.
I have a doubt regarding the clear command. Does it clear the history of all previous commands as well?
No, it will not clear the history. It will just clear whatever is being shown. For example, this one is there na, so I will write, see, I'm just pressing the up key and it will be showing what was the previous commands that I wrote. So I will just press enter one more for clear, and whatever is the there on my screen, it will be like gone. For the second years, like if you would have been in the campus, so for the computer engineering course, introductory course that you are having, like I think you will be encouraged to start with Ubuntu only, so you might have got more experience, but still it's not late, like you can start with this. It's not that much complex, like you can see the videos here. uh, it's easy only. Yeah, yeah. If you have any or more doubts, like can take up or okay.
Yeah, I have a doubt. Let's say you're given a flag and you simply encrypt it, delete the original unencrypted flag, and then destroy the keys. And it's essentially impossible to find the flag then, right?
Sorry, I like didn't understand what you were trying to say.
Let's say you're given a text file as a flag and you encrypt it using some algorithm, and then you destroy the original unencrypted flag and throw the encryption key away. So then it will be very difficult to find the original flag.
No. So see, all these files or servers, everything, like it will be for I'm talking about these war games or CTS. Like it will be designed in such a way that whatever you do, it doesn't affect whatever the other participants are doing. So as you are saying, like if you will encrypt it more or destroy the file, you will be destroying the file for yourself. So like why you would do that, right? So uh, only purpose is like uh, to be fair, like all the participants are kind of insulated from each other. Did I answer your question? Because I think it was kind of.
No, I'm still not very sure. Imagine a physical game of capture the flag. So if you destroy your flag, there's no way they can capture it.
See, in a physical game, like if you are talking about, like, let's say 5 teams are there and only one flag is there, then if you destroy, then it will be a problem. Yeah, yeah, that
Oh,
I.
so you're always the attacker. Are you ever defending your own flag?
Yeah, see, in the starting, this attack defense style CTF I talked about, right? So
Yes.
their teams are made like attack team and defense team, and
Hmm.
there kind of you are defending your flags and the other party is attacking, and kind of like that is there. So DEFCON, I think those are the competitions, like these those are held like this only. uh,
Yeah, I'm clear.
See, this CTF is emerging, like in the club as well. Not many people are in knowledgeable in this. Like we, most of the people are beginners only. So just to promote it more, like we are giving it a bit push, because in the inter IITs, this is like a go-to contest, like in the 28th also, hosted by IIT Roorkee, I think it is there. So, and it's on the rise, you can see. Like, you once you get the hang of this, right? So you will enjoy this as well. So I will try to do some questions. Like, I don't expect you all to follow everything. I just have to show you the flow, like how we can go about. Like once you know how to solve, then how you can go about like solving all these things. So yeah. So going with the like first link, this one is there, bandit zero. So I will click here. Yeah, so the bandit level 0 is there. What it is saying, you have to SSH into the server first. So SSH is a simple command, secure shell. It stands for secure shell, to connect from one system to another system. Okay, so for example, currently, if I write who am I, then it will say Amit, that I am like the user of this account. Okay, so now if I want to connect to some other server, or maybe some, like this SSH one is given. Do this. So for connecting it to that securely, we can use an SSH. Okay, so the level is just to connect to an SSH, and this is the host. We call it as an host, and we have to connect it using bandit 0 username. See here, my username is Amit, right? So this one will be a bandit 0 username, and password is also given for the first level, because we have to enter this somehow, right? And whatever we get the flag, then we will use it for the next level. Like many levels are there, right? 34 levels are there, so we will be using one after the other. Okay, so let's start. SSH, I will copy the host name. SSH username bandit 0 at the rate, and then whatever I copied, host name, this one, then minus p flag for port number. So see, your system current will be having around 65,000 ports on your system, okay, for network incoming and outgoing. So usually some servers run on port 80 like by default, but if you are going through this, so it will be changing port numbers as well, because they have to manage more ports. So that is why. So I will press enter, and see, now it is asking for my password. Bandit 0 it is given, so I will just write bandit 0. It will not be visible to you for safety purposes. Okay, now see, we are in the over the wire bandit server. It is telling some instructions, you can go it. seeing about it. Like it's not that much to work upon. Yeah. So any server that you visit, what's the first thing you will do? You will explore like what the files are. So for the exploration, the first and simple most command is ls we do. And one more thing, who am I, right? So now you will see I'm not longer Amit, I am bandit zero, so we connected to that server, right? So just to make sure that this one can be seen. Yeah, so coming back, ls I did, I got one file, readme. So only one file is there and it is shouting that readme, readme. So what we will do, we will just readme. So cat is a command to output whatever is the file contents of a text file or those kind of files onto the output terminal straightforward. So out cat readme. See, so we got around I think 20 to 30 characters are there, and this will be our flag. So we got our first flag here. Congrats all of you, like you are hackers now officially. Yeah. So what we can do is like okay, I will copy this and I will store it somewhere. Okay, so now we got this one, like this stage is over, we can use exit and we are logged out of that. So next level we can do, if anyone has any doubts, like they can ask, not regarding the technical things like how to go about, like what to do, those things we will cover eventually. I'm just uh, showing you a introductory path. Okay, so next one more level we will do, and then we will try to do uh, like what we will do, we will do stenography problem after this. This is kind of a miscellaneous, or you can say, yeah, those kind of things. Okay, the password for the next level file is stored in a file called readme located in the home directory. Use this password to log into Bandit 1 using SSH. Whenever you find a password for a level, okay, I think this one we already did. Yeah, the password for the next level is stored in a file called dash, located in the home directory. Okay, now since we got the Bandit 0 password, we'll use the Bandit 1 username now. It will take some time. It's taking a lot of time. Yeah, I'm audible, right? So I hope I have not gone out of the connection. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what was the password that we got from last time? Like this was the password, so I will try to. Okay, I think I copied a space as well. That's why it is not taking. Yeah. See, we whatever we got from the last level, we will use in this level. Okay, so once again we will do an ls, and see we are getting this dash file. So if we try to do cat dash like the last way, it will not do anything. Like it will get stuck here because this is not a common file name, right? This is just a dash. So a simple trick what we can do is dot slash, means in this directory. Dot slash is used for this directory. Dot slash is used for going to previous directory. Okay, and this tilde sign is used to go for home directory, and only this slash, okay, yeah, only this slash, this is used for going to the root directory. So like these four commands like for navigation you can see. Okay. This server, like, sometimes it gets stuck also. It is not from our side, like you are connecting it to a server side, so it is stuck. Oh shit, shit, shit. Not audible. So I hope you got all those 4 points, right? Dot slash for being in the current directory, dot slash for being in the previous directory, tilde to go into the home directory, and only slash to go into the root directory. Okay, so we'll be using this for current directory and then dash, and this will give us the password. I will copy and, like, I will save it also, because we might be using, or we may lose it in the copy process. Okay, see, in this you will be finding some useful materials as well. It is a long and lengthy paragraphs, and some things might not be related as well, but you can go through this. Okay, so I will type exit. Take some time. I'm here. Okay, my net is dropping, I think, because of that. Yeah, showing this was the purpose. Like, we have to use Linux commands and we have to use command line a lot, but this array. Yeah, so the only purpose for showing you all these levels and going through all this is that you will be you will have to research a lot, you will have to study a lot about the commands or whatever ways we can do. uh, you have to use the Linux commands and you have to use the terminal a lot. But what I will suggest is, like, see, these levels are there, yeah, right? So you might go to these reading materials, and just don't, like, go to the Google and search for solutions. Like, they are there, you will find plenty of them. For the bandit level itself you will find video tutorials at there. Don't just go and, like, watch the tutorials. Like, try to do it by yourself. I know, like, for some questions you may find it difficult as well, but if you will do it from your side, right, you will get some kind of inner enjoyment. Yeah, from personal experience I'm saying. So yeah, so to more show more variety about this, I will be taking up one more kind of a question. This is from Pico CTF. It's a stenography one. So this one is the question: Glory of the Gardens. See, what the question is saying. This garden. This is a picture. If I will click on it, it will tell me to download it. Yeah, I have already downloaded it, so I won't be downloading it again. Says my net. Yeah, this garden contains more than it seems. You can also find the file in this one. This is if you connect it to the SSH server, and just that. This is the only line of info that we have been given. Okay, so I will be showing you the image file. Yeah, this is the image that we get after downloading. So like, for those who don't know anything, like, they don't have any idea, uh, from my experience, like, you will be searching for hours for text or any hidden clue in this photo itself, but you won't find any. Okay, So because the flag for this level, it is not hidden in this photo like what you can see. It is written hidden in the kind of, you can say, is like the back end of the picture. See, in the, you can see a file like jpg file is there, right? So each and every file, it is kind of a text or ASCII characters or some special characters, and it is comprised of that. Okay, so we will try to use that command line, and we will we will open the file through a command line. So vim is a command line text editor you can use. And what is the name? Garden.jpg. Okay, so if you will open this, you will see a lot of garbage text. See, all this is garbage text. It's all it's all these things are not legible as well. Okay, so I will quit this now. Strings command is there in Linux. What it does, it is a simple thing. Whatever are the only ASCII characters like A to Z, capital, small, numbers or special dollars or dash, those kind of things, only those commands it will take up, and it will output to the terminal just like cat, but only the ASCII characters. Okay, then I will press enter, and it will start printing like all those things. Yeah, let it run for a while, because this one is, I think, how much, 2 MB. So 2 MB means that much text is also there, right? So it will be taking.
Yeah, Bhaiya, what did you tell about Vim? Like you said, it is a command line text editor. Like,
Yeah.
what does that
Yeah,
mean?
okay, I will tell it once again. Okay, I will complete it and then I will. Yeah, sure. Okay, so all these things are ASCII characters that are being outputted from that photo, and yeah, it's huge. You, maybe you can show this to someone and say, "See, it is all typing by itself. See, I am hacking." Yeah, see, all the ASCII letters that were there in the file, it is being printed, and at the last you are seeing this is the flag. Yeah, if you might have spent hours in this photo, you won't have seen anything, but just printing the ASCII characters of the file, you have got the flag. This you will submit, you will get the answer. So nice, right? First, when I saw this kind of a question, like my uh, mind was blown. How can someone do like this? Okay, yeah, that Vim question was there, right? So, see, Notepad is there, right? This Notepad is there. This is a GUI, graphic user interface, for you to type anything. I am Amit. Yeah, this is there. So now you can save the file, and you can use it wherever you want. That is not an issue. But since here we are only using kind of command line, so what I can do is vim hello.txt. I can create a command like this, and this is a text editor in itself. Okay, so whatever you can do in Notepad, you can do it here as well. So I will type hello, I am Amit. This you can write. There are some like technicalities related to Vim as well, like insert mode, or you can't type just directly. You have to watch some tutorials for this simple text editor as well. But after you get the hang of it, you are like, you will be grateful that you have Vim by your side. my WPS.
Okay.
Yeah, so my WPS office
Thank.
also. Yeah, this is a file that we have created just now using Vim text, and if we will cat the contents of the file, see whatever I wrote, it is there. These kind of basic things we will take up later on when we see this session was only there to get you started with CTS because of the contest that is there on 28. Like else we would have started with basic installation session, then Linux essential sessions, but this is also fine that we gave a intro session as well. Okay. Hope this along with
Yes.
yeah, along with Vim, many other text editors are also there, like Nano is there or Emacs is there. So if you want, you can try according to your needs. Then one more question in which you definitely don't need any command line purpose is this one. Okay, so this something it has written, just a backstory. It tells us to go to this link. I will open this link in a new. Okay, you are not an admin. The page just shows this and nothing else. Okay, so in web exploitation, like in the command line when we connect it to a server, the first step is like always to do an ls. Usually in this we most of the times press an F12 to go to then inspector or the what do you say, console. This developer options. So in the inspector tab, whatever this will show, it will show the HTML code for the page that you are visiting. Like see here HTML tags are there, head tag is there, and not much is there. Okay, this is a bare minimum website. Then console tab is there for whatever it is being printed for the website. Debugger, network, such website tabs are there. But like in this one, mostly inspector, when you will inspect the code, then maybe in the comments it is hidden somewhere, the password for the basic stages, like I'm saying. Or we can go to the storage is what is I will increase the size. Yeah, storage, this will store your cache storage, cookies, local storage. For example, when you must have login to a website, right? So it says that do you want to save your password? So all those things get stored in the local storage. Whatever your preferences are for those websites, those are stored in the cookies. So this is stored in your local system. It is for your ease of access, you can say. Okay, so here we can see a field username, it is John, created domain host only, all those text fields are there. But can link like you are not an admin. See, username, we are not an admin, we are John right now. So what we can do is we can double click on this and we can edit the cookie that we are having to write it to admin. Okay, this is saved. Just now we will refresh the page and see we have the flag. Nice, right? Of course, like in the real world scenario you won't see such kind of vulnerabilities, but to get started, these are like awesome platforms, like you can see. Okay, so like this is the last slide. I will take some more questions, and I think I am touching the 1 hour mark as well. So hope I gave you some excitement to work upon. And yeah, any questions, guys?
Online itself, we can find many steganography tools, right? So how would, like, if you enter a competition, how will they know whether you've used a tool or actually the command line? Are there any restrictions like that?
No, I don't think so. There are any restrictions of any sort. Like in the real world, also you don't have any restrictions on you. So why in a competition they will put a restriction on you? You can use whatever resource, or you can like search the net for the solution if you want to. You can use any tool that you want, but I think they will allow it, no problem. Okay. Yeah, guys, any other doubt? Like, I know you must have been uh, like, this is not easy to digest at first go, but give it some time and read through the articles. Like, this one is a nice article I have attached in the slides as well. We will be sharing this slide. Go through this ones and watch some videos. Start with Linux or the commands that are there. Try to go through these, the YouTube channels, and then slowly and gradually you can like be good in this as well. You can be good more better than me as well, because I also don't know that much. I am also just a beginner. One point is that this security you won't be getting in your course. So most probably you won't get, like, we don't have. So exploring a field which is not in a course but is a bit excite feels give me a bit of excitement. Like, I thought, like, yeah, I will go for it. I wanted to be the cool kid, like, after watching the Mr. Robot or all those kinds of movies. Yeah. Okay. If no questions are there, like, then that's enough babble from my side. Okay, so I will pause the